I thought it
Hi.
would give me like a warning. Like, are you sure you want to go live?
Hi. We're
Hello.
live.
We're so happy to be here.
I don't know what's going on
Now
here.
we gotta check our hair. Do we look okay?
So happy to see
Everybody
you.
had a happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. So I know it's a Friday night and it's date night and
Hi, Heidi.
and all the things, but we wanted to stay consistent because with our weekly lives, because we feel like it's valuable.
Yes.
To us and to you, and we love teaching, and so if you can catch it live, awesome. If you can't, then we're happy to have you here in the replay.
Yeah, we'll give you 24 hours, and this one's gonna be good. Because so today we had a post on the warm compress. Having a warm compress on your perineum while you push can help the direction of your pushing, and also like loosen those muscles, all of the things. And so we had some good feedback on the post, and then also some questions as well. So we decided that tonight we're going to talk about
perineum.
Yes, and tearing specifically. Because raise your hand if that's been a concern of yours. If right, like the
I think
tearing
it's always
factor,
a concern.
Always.
Honestly.
Like that's one of the, I think, number one nervous factors of having a baby. So so we want to specifically address that. Yeah, we're raising hands or we're waving. Are you waving?
Or raising your hand? You're probably raising your hand, because that's a big question that we get from a lot of people, as well as I mean, as doulas we know this, and personally we know this. So we are just gonna get into do you want to do like the studies first and then like some things you can do, or what? How do you want to do this?
Okay, so let's talk about let's talk about the studies first.
Okay.
I think it's really interesting.
I love, good.
Raising hand.
We love the raising hand. Okay, so I love studies and I love research and all of that because I just find it fascinating. So I looked at 3 different studies about the perineum. And did you know 90% of first-time moms tear? So if you have torn, or if you're worried about tearing, just so you know, 90% of women, first-time moms, will tear. Enough for a stitch or a degree, 4th degree tear.
There's degrees of tears, anywhere from a 1st degree to a 4th degree.
Yes.
And I will say that even though 90% of women tear, 4th degree tears are very rare. Very rare.
It's true.
Very rarely happens.
So, and those are the ones that really take a long time to heal. But luckily, they do. They always heal. She knows.
Not that I've had a 4th degree tear.
Oh, you didn't have a 4th degree?
No, but I've had 2nd and 3rd.
She's had 2nd and 3rd degree tears. I did not tear.
Ever. She's one of the lucky 10%.
I'm one of the 10% that never tore.
So we're gonna give you some good
some ideas,
good tips,
some really good tips. So and then 2nd, 3rd, 4th times moms usually about
all the way up to 30%, right? Sorry.
Wait, what were you? Okay, she's interrupting me. I don't know what she's talking about. So only 30% of so like 70% of women, 2nd-time moms, they will tear. So your chances of tearing go down significantly after your 2nd and 3rd babies. Interestingly, a study in Norway, and then let's go to, one other thing that I wanted to do, and then it will transition to you. In a Cochrane study, this one's really cool. It showed that a warm compress that we talked about earlier today reduced incidence of 3rd and 4th degree tears significantly. So that is really, so if you can get a warm compress on that perineum and help with the counter pressure and just to like soften things up,
relax those muscles, and also give you a direction of where to push is super helpful.
And then one other study in Norway, they had a 4%, only 4% of the women did not tear, and they wanted to reduce that. So in 5 years, they reduced it from 4% of non-tearing to a 1% of not tearing, and the things that they attributed it to.
Wait, 4% of people
did not tear.
And they wanted to reduce, so more people would tear?
So less people. So
okay.
Did not tear. So 4% didn't tear, and they wanted to get to a 1%. Oh, wait.
That doesn't make sense.
Oh, sorry. Wait, that doesn't make sense. So they reduced it to a 1% tear of the 4th degree, the second and third.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, third and 4th degree tears.
The type of tear. Okay.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. My research. I took bad notes. Yes. So with a 3rd and 4th degree tear, they were trying to reduce it to
so they would be less.
Yeah, only 1% would be
that high, that experience, yes. that degree of tearing.
Yes. And what they attributed it to was slowing the delivery process. And how they slowed the delivery process was instructing the mother not to push too hard, too fast.
That's awesome.
And then letting their body take charge. So they kind of took a more hands-off approach during that pushing stage. And it actually made a significant difference within 5 years.
That's awesome.
So we're going to tell you some of the things that we know about strategies to reduce incidence of tearing.
Okay. So quick an anatomy lesson with your perineum. That is very soft tissue, right? So it's tender and soft, and there's a lot of nerve endings down there. And the crazy thing about it is the whole vaginal canal or the birth canal, the same thing, and the perineum, so the flat part between your vagina and your anus, all of that is actually made up of tons of little folds. So it's kind of like a drape. If you can, I wish I kind of had a curtain back there. So like a ton of folds. And so what's awesome is there is some level of elasticity there, but more than that, it is there's enough tissue there to make it huge, like balloon it out. And that's why when a baby, so here's your pelvis. When a baby moves down, it actually will open up. If the baby has the ability to move down really slowly, a nice slow descending, then all of those folds will iron out, and it'll make it so there's plenty of space for that baby to move down and out, and that tissue doesn't get like pushed upon and stretched and torn within. And then also on the perineum, so then you've got the baby, so here's your perineum down here, and that moves and opens up, and it allows for that baby to just come on right through. So a slow descent is number one, the most effective way to not tear.
Because it irons out.
Everything just
unfolds.
Feels real nice. So what's great about that is breathing techniques. And so there, it's really common in a hospital setting, especially, but with lots of different care providers, to direct mom to push really hard. Okay, hold your breath and put your chin to your chest and push, hold. And it's actually kind of innate with us to do that, is to I'm gonna push really hard. But if you can keep your wherewithal, keep your brain, keep your mind, or have your support team that is there remind you, okay, keep breathing. You need to keep breathing. And we talked about this in in a couple of the comments today on today's post, is that my thought just evaded me, but about breathing. But
while she's thinking of her thought, the births that I've been to that I love is you have that expulsion reflex. So you're expelling, your body just is knowing exactly where to get that baby to come out. And if you can keep your breath instead of holding your breath, because that tightens everything. And then when you don't have oxygen, your body goes into fight or flight. So it's sending all of your blood to your limbs instead of your uterus. And so if you can get your uterus there to do it, or all the blood there to do its job. So we really like to direct moms to moan and breathe out.
And throwing it out. I always always grunt
and
my
then
babies
breathe in,
Ugh,
and then
that.
take a breath in, and then breathe out.
And nice
So,
and slow, nice and
yeah.
slow. And okay, I remember my thought.
Got it?
You ready
Okay,
for it? Yes. Okay, so we have a reflex within our bodies called the natural expulsive reflex. And so it actually is, for someone, as women especially, or for different types of birth, when the baby hits that reflex in their descent down, it will become like overpowering to push, and you want to push, and you just want to get that baby out, and it's like your body is taking control. But if you have the wherewithal, the ability to slow it down, to continue to breathe, sometimes when you hold your breath, it does kind of just shoot that baby down and push that baby out real fast.
You're gonna tear.
Well, there's a higher chance of tearing.
So it's okay if you feel like that and you're okay with that in the moment. It's okay. Just know that you're gonna tear. That's me.
Does. I know. Like, I have had 5 babies. I've torn 5 times. I know. Even in the moment, I'm like, I know I need to slow this down, but mama's ready. I need this baby out. So I push with everything in me, and that baby literally catapults out me, and then I have stitches, and I'm fine. Like and then everything heals, and it's fine. But that being said, slow it down, slow your breathing down, keep breathing. Are really important. And then another one is changing positions. Guess what is not a great position if you're not wanting to tear? Guess what is not a great position to be in?
The semi-reclined, laying on your back,
feet in the stirrups.
And there's even research on that position, as well as squatting, the two positions that have the
highest chance of tearing. So you definitely want to. Here's the deal. You don't have to stay in that position, even though it's like super convenient for everybody else.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not comfortable for you, if you don't want to be in that position, you can definitely change your position.
Yeah. And if you're pushing and it's taking a long time, and your care provider's like, we've got to get this going, if you can remind them that, like, changing positions and using gravity, and usually the care provider will remind you, but if they forget, you could suggest, like, standing.
Okay,
is great.
A couple of really great options as far as positions that are great to actually deliver a baby in is
standing.
One, standing.
Yep.
So even like I had one mama, she was doing so awesome. I'm gonna see if I can get any sort of.
Can you?
We'll move this. She was like standing up next to the bed, and she had like a power stance. And so she was in the hospital, and then she'd be like between a contraction, and she'd kind of do this, and then, and she'd like lean over, and then when she was in a contraction, she'd like power stance it out and like squat a little bit, like just kind of, open her hips, and feel that contraction. And then it came time to want to deliver, and her awesome doctor was like, you seem to be doing really great in this position. Do you want to just keep going? And like got on the floor and allowed her to maintain a standing position. So standing is one.
And I just want to respond to Heidi.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, Heidi, squatting is a great birth position. Super great birth position.
When you labor, awesome. Because it actually
helps to shorten your cervix. But keep going.
And your birth path. So your birth path is about 3.5, 4 inches.
Yes.
Total. And then when you're squatting, it actually shortens it, which means that the baby has less area to go.
But I like what you said, isn't that how women gave birth? And yes, but I love that you said in the field, because they were not in a hurry to have a baby. They could be having contractions for 3 days, and they were just going and letting their body do it. And that perineum was ironing itself out and taking its time, and it didn't have a care provider like saying push, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, and also squatting. You're right. Squatting is a great birth position,
and it's also culturally culturally, if that is a position that so my husband lived in Fiji for a couple of years, and they still to this day, when they make food, it's over a hole in the ground.
True.
And so they're on their haunches. They are squatting when they're
All
cooking.
the time.
They're squatting all the time. Their muscles are
Toned
conditioned
and-
for that. And so squatting is how their women birth. That's their chosen
Because it's
position,
a normal position
because it's a normal position.
Yeah.
So if that's a way you want to if you want to birth in that, then I highly recommend that you condition your body for it.
Yeah.
And then that's totally possible. And
Yeah.
that's great. So
but as far as tearing, for some reason there's a higher incident. Well, not for some reason, because usually
it's
you are tight.
It tightens it.
When you squat, you have to like kind of pull up your pelvic floor, which is awesome, but it just creates a tighter
Area.
tension.
Force.
Tension,
Yeah.
that would be the right
Tension.
word. So anyway,
So
good question. Good question.
Yes. So then we've got a great position to be standing. Another fantastic position is kneeling. And
Yes.
that's kneeling. You
Hands
guys are
and
gonna.
knees.
This is like with your
Or
with your
over.
butt in the air like
Yeah.
this, or just like up against something where you're just standing up, and then you open your hips.
Yes.
I got a chair here. So you. Oh, you guys are getting it
She's
out.
the one.
I'm getting this really involved. This is actually a fantastic position to birth in.
Yes.
Just like this, if you're leaning up against something or have something, because then it uses gravity. It opens your hips, and it uses gravity, and it allows for not a huge long space like it would be if you're standing, and you're up and down. So your baby doesn't actually have to go up and over a tailbone either. So this is a really great option to deliver your baby in.
It is.
And you can do that on the hospital beds too. And you
Yeah.
can lean up against the.
I was in the hospital. I gave birth to my second like that. So, and it was fast and beautiful.
fast.
And I was actually nervous. It was so fast that I thought for sure I was going to tear. And actually, yeah, again, not even an issue. So I love that position. It was my favorite one.
Another position is the birth stool.
The birth stool is
So
a great
if
one.
you have you heard of a birth stool? Have you seen one? It essentially looks like a toilet seat or toilet. Yeah,
Yeah.
toilet seat, like
Well,
a
it's
round
like a
round thing with a hole in it.
stool with a hole in it.
But it's like, but the front is cut off, so
Yeah.
it's like a U. So it's kind of like that.
so they can deliver the baby.
So yes, they have access. But the nice thing is toilet sitting anyway is such a fantastic way to labor,
yes.
because you've been conditioned since you were 2-3 years old to, when you're on the toilet, to release all those muscles, to relax all those muscles and let everything go. And so it's kind of the same when you're in labor. And so a lot of women will express that they have their contractions are stronger when they're on the toilet, because they're releasing, they're relaxing, and it's more effective. So, but you just don't want to really deliver a baby in a toilet. So that's why a birth stool is really fantastic, because it's the same concept, but with less water.
You know,
You don't want that kind of water birth.
not that kind.
And then upright. So it's just sitting
Yeah.
upright. I've had a few moms that were on the hospital bed that just like sat straight up and pulled their own knees to themselves. I'm gonna show you guys. You're gonna get lots of April here.
I like it.
So they were sitting up. So instead of reclined in the stirrups, I have my slippers on, you guys. They just sat straight up and held their own legs like that. And
you can have your support team help hold your knees too, but it just feels good. Like it feels good to just pull in pull your legs in. I had a thought about one of those and now I forgot. Oh, why do we forget all the things? Keep going.
So those are awesome. Oh, guess what I did? I don't have a lid on this.
Oh, it's okay.
I need it. Sorry,
Oh.
I'm really thirsty. Oh,
So good. And then as far as we have another idea to help with not tearing, and I used this. Did you use it too? Perineal massage.
Yeah.
We are going to tell you about the perineal massage. So there's no like statistics saying that this works or doesn't work. I feel like personally, maybe it's one of the reasons I didn't tear, but perineal massage is basically using a high quality oil, like a natural oil,
like a coconut
oil,
olive
fresh,
oil.
Olive oil. I use evening primrose oil is good. Vitamin E
That's
can.
a good one.
So I used evening primrose oil, and I just had my husband help me. And you would lay on your back, and then just insert 2 fingers, 1 finger, whatever feels comfortable is the word, and just put some oil on your fingers, and then do a very gentle kind of just a U-shaped sweep like this.
In the vaginal opening.
Just right in the vaginal opening.
So what's nice about it is it can help with the elasticity, and in fact the question of, have you heard of coconut oil in a pad at night in the weeks leading up to birth?
I haven't
heard that, and I haven't done that. So I'm curious how that would go, and if it would be kind of the similar concept to perineal massage, in that like allowing that oil to help lubricate, to help soften, to help moisturize, and to help.
I would think that you would need a little bit of pressure too, though.
But that's what I actually appreciated about the perineal massage, is not necessarily that it was going to give me elasticity, but more that it was helping me to relax when I felt pressure there. And that was...
It's the practice. You're practicing.
Yeah, the practicing and the conditioning for...
And it's almost like muscle memory a little bit too. As you feel that pressure of the perineal massage, it's not comfortable. So it's a little bit pressury. You don't want it hurting at any point, but it's a little bit pressury. And then it's almost like you can direct your push there when you do have your baby.
Might as well try it. I don't know if your sweet husband will help you with massage. I don't know. It's a great
I did it. It is. That's true. Okay, so my husband is super weird about it. We're real. My husband was, I hope he doesn't watch this. He was a little weird about it too. So I did it to myself like 2 or 3 times, and then I kind of like felt weird about it. I was like, I can't get, I don't feel like
belly, like it's not.
Like I don't feel like I can do it very well. So he was just uncomfortable with the whole thing. Like birth in general was super weird to him. So I just showed him what I was doing. Like the 3rd time I showed him kind of what I was trying to, and then
he was fine.
He was fine. Yeah, and he did it, and we only did it like 6 or 7 times.
That's good.
I know. I feel like that's a lot.
Like
I know.
We did it like 3 times.
Maybe that's why I didn't tear. That's not true. I have very elastic skin.
She does, and she always has. That didn't surprise me when she. Yeah. But.
And you know what? I feel like I did all of the things to prepare for birth. I ate really well. I did lots of supplements. And
there are
lots of exercises.
There are some foods that will help with like your skin, nourishing your skin, and elasticity of the skin too. So a really good diet and good nutrition helps in so many ways in birth. Truly, as doulas, the more we're in this industry, the more we know that like nutrition is one of the best things you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
Go ask him right now. Yep, Friday night. You say my doulas told me that this is foreplay.
It's foreplay. It hurts me, and I don't want to do anything after.
It doesn't hurt. So it's just light pressure.
It's light pressure.
So.
And if you find yourself tensing up, like expecting it to be hurty, then that's when you relax, like learn how to breathe.
And put on like the yoga-y music, or music that helps you relax, or like a guided meditation, or something that will help you to relax those muscles as you feel that pressure.
Okay, we have a comment saying, I'm addicted to sugar. You're in good company. So a couple things. To help with your addiction to sugar is, don't feel like you can't have it, because that will make you want it more.
The restriction.
But just like give yourself some times and some planned space for that. So like plan to have something.
The dessert.
Yeah, that dessert. And then just remind yourself throughout the day when you go to grab the sugar, just remember, I already planned on something later.
I'm gonna have birthday cake at the birthday party tomorrow.
I'm gonna do it a little later. So,
but I may have let my kids have all the candy today, and I think I ate the equivalent of like 5 whole Snickers bars.
She loves Snickers bars.
Today I did.
I don't know, but it's a hard one. It's hard. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. And just do your best again.
Yeah.
And sometimes thinking to take out something messes with your mind. So
Yeah.
just add more vegetables.
Or
eat your same amount of sugar and add more water.
Can I
add more
like
vegetables.
that has been my thing. Like since I've added more water, it has made it so I'm not as hungry. I'm not like I don't know about you. I always am like, oh, I wait to the point where I'm like just shoving things in my mouth, and it's all.
And when you're pregnant, I don't know, with me, I would start feeling sick no matter what time of my pregnancy. If I went too long, I'd start feeling sick without eating. So then I just shove anything in my face. So yes, so I don't. We'll talk about nutrition. We'll do more of like a nutrition one.
Because it is important.
Because it's a big one, and we like totally understand. But yes, we love it. So anyway, perineal massage.
Okay, and then we have the warm compress, which we talked about in the post today. Just in case you didn't catch the post, having somebody else. I mean, you could do it yourself. This is when you're feeling the urge to push and bear down, and you're pushing your baby out. Having somebody, you could have your spouse, you could have a birth worker, you could have a nurse, you could have your doctor. And I have seen I've attended a lot of births where there's doctors that are doing the perineal massage, but they're kind of like
rough
doing this. And so maybe instead of that, you could say, hey, how about a warm compress? I'd appreciate a warm compress more. And then so basically you just get they have tons of washcloths in the hospital. If you're having a out of hospital birth, make sure that you get the 18-pack from Walmart for $3. Like there's plenty. And you just get it warm, and then you hold it up against the perineum, so right underneath the vaginal opening, and allow that to have pressure there so that you can feel where to direct your pushing, because that is another thing. A lot of times moms will be pushing and they'll feel, in fact, I had one mom that I attended her birth, and she'd push, and then she'd like release, and she came out of one of her pushing, and she's like, oh my gosh, I feel like my eyes are gonna pop out of my head. And I was like, okay, we are not pushing in the right place. Like
if you're pushing in your head,
if you're pushing your baby out in your head, like that's not the right place. So having that warm compress down there and being like, oh, I can feel it, that's where I need to like direct it.
So you're breathing down to that, you're directing all your energy to where that pressure, not pressure, but the pressing,
the warmth feels
it
so
feels
nice,
so good,
and that pressure feels so nice, and so it really is nice too. And then all those muscles, I guess, also with the warmth will relax all those muscles, so which can help. And we've heard the studies show that warm compresses help a ton. So
with your 3rd and 4th degree tears. Which you
don't want. So okay, and then there is a kind of a fun gadget.
It's a gadget
that you cannot get in the United States, by the way. No. You have to order it in the United Kingdom.
Or Ireland.
That's true. Is that part of the UK?
Yeah, it is.
So
it's in the UK.
In the island. The Great Britain. It's called Epi-no. Have you heard of it? EPI-NO. So it's basically saying episiotomy no.
Yeah.
And what it is like it's kind of expensive. It's over $100 US dollars. And what it is like it's like a balloon, but it's like a deflated balloon, and you can insert it into your vaginal opening, and then you, like a blood pressure cuff, you will pump it up to like a one, and then for a while you will practice pushing out that balloon at a 1 out of your perineum and like directing where to push it out, and then you move it up to 2, and then you practice, and not all at once. This is over the course of some time, but it's when you're closer to your estimated due date. I have had 2 moms use the Epi-no, and neither of them tore.
They didn't?
Neither of them tore. Both of them felt like super in control when it came down to their baby descending. They could feel their baby descending really well. They knew where their baby was in their body, which was like cool. Like I've never felt that. Like I can feel my baby, but I don't know. Like I can't feel. Anyway,
I can feel like
the way they described
burn.
it. Yeah,
That's the fire. Ring of fire.
The ring of fire. But and then also they just had so much control in the pushing of the baby out, which I thought was super fascinating.
That
so
is fascinating.
If you're really concerned about tearing, then I would recommend looking into that.
Yeah, look into it.
Because it might be well worth your time and effort. Yeah. Especially feeling like there's something that would kind of train you how to push a baby.
Well, I mean, it like cognitively makes sense. I haven't used it, and I don't know anyone that's used it, but I just like it makes sense that you would be toning those muscles and preparing those muscles.
And also putting something in and making it like pushing a balloon kind of bigger so that actually is helping to iron out all those folds too. So, so it's kind of cool.
So good.
But yeah, if that's something that you want, then you would have to. So it's called an Epi-no, EPI-NO. We had a question of what is it, and it's just like a gadget that you insert and you pump up like gradually and practice pushing out. So it's like you're practicing pushing out a baby's head.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. So those are some of our ideas about how to avoid tearing or
prepare yourself
for that pushing, the more directed pushing.
So it's not available in the U.S. now, but you can order it.
Yeah. They'll just ship it from the UK.
So you just know that you'll be shipping.
There will be shipping
from the United or from Great Britain. So
yeah.
Did you?
Oh, really? Only available in Germany. Things might have changed. So, yep. And we haven't bought it.
Yeah, Michelle, I did talk to you about it. I remember now.
Oh, yeah. I was there when you did talk about it. So maybe it's not. So maybe
I'll have to look into it and see. Like I will put like a link or something. But
that is
next time. Yeah, practicing for next time. Okay.
So,
we do want to talk about episiotomies, but it's going to be kind of graphic. So if you don't want to,
it's not going to be like
I mean, not
but
probably
if
any more than we already have.
Yeah, if you don't really want to know about episiotomies, we're just gonna talk a little bit about it right now. So stay or go, whatever you want.
Yes, just like be forewarned. Yes. Now we're going to be talking about episiotomies. So, okay.
So an episiotomy is.
Do you want me to tell you?
Sure.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So episiotomy is when a doctor, so you have your birth canal, your vaginal opening right here, and this is your we'll say this is your perineum. Your anus is down here. Okay.
Right there.
And as the baby is crowning, like trying to get out through here, if a doctor is performing an episiotomy, he will snip this part of the perineum, and it kind of flies away,
flaps open,
and the baby has more room to come out quickly. So it's not as common a practice anymore. No. Thank goodness. Yeah. Because here's the deal: when you give your shirt like
my favorite analogy is
visual,
and I wish I had one. Is when you have a piece of fabric, it's really hard to tear a piece of fabric. Like it would take a lot of might for me to tear this piece of fabric, but if I take a tiny scissor and snip it right there a little bit, I can rip that fabric to shreds, because it now has the opening, or has the ability, and it's started. So now I can just tear right open. So it's a similar concept with muscle fiber. Is once it's started, it's easy to rip,
to open straight open. So with the episiotomy is it was a common practice for doctors to do if they felt like the baby was taking too long to come out. But now we know, especially if the baby is doing fine, and it is pretty common for a baby's heart rate to drop when you're in a contraction and you're pushing. When they're in the birth canal, it's actually very common for that. But if it stays low, if it doesn't come back up, then that is cause for concern, but also changing your position, that's going to help a ton instead of snipping. So that episiotomy will just basically make it so the perineum goes like this, and your tissue from your vaginal opening to your anus is like non-existent.
Open.
Like it's gone. Like not that it's gone, but it's like it's completely open now to your inside muscles. And so the repair work on an episiotomy is a lot more difficult because you're taking two straight pieces and trying to bring them together. Then if you naturally tear, so if there's any sort of tearing on the perineum that's a natural tear, usually it's kind of fibrous and like this. And so when there's some stitches that come back together, they bring the tissue back together like this and stitch it like this, and it heals so much faster, so much better, so much cleaner with less scar tissue than a straight stitch there. So definitely that's something that you'll want to consider when you are thinking about your birth preferences, like things that you want, and then just like understanding too that tears aren't the end of the world. Like 90% of us first-time moms will tear, and the nice thing is that tissue is so fibrous, it's so soft, and it has
lots of blood vessels.
Yep, everything, and it comes together pretty nicely. So even though you're sore and you've got stitches, and it's uncomfortable for a little bit. I've torn again with 5 babies, and I have never felt like it never has felt like excessively hard to repair or recuperate from. So should I tell my story about my
Sure.
Okay, so I had
We're all friends.
I attended a birth where an episiotomy, not having an episiotomy was this mom's like number one thing. Like it didn't matter anything else, she like did not want an episiotomy. And she ended up like being complete, dilated to a 10, baby was descending right at shift change, which is kind of fun because everybody, like there's a million people in and out. So it's hard to have the communication, and like it's people leaving, people coming, and you see a lot more people than you would normally than it just like your designated nurse and your designated doctor. And so it was right at shift change, and everybody that came into the room, she was like, I don't want an episiotomy, like make sure the doctor knows I don't want an episiotomy, like, and she was telling everybody. So the new doctor that was on call was taken away because he had to attend another mom that was in labor, and so the on-call doctor that she had all day stayed on to help her deliver her baby. And again, she was in a position that wasn't super conducive, but she also had an epidural as well. But so there wasn't a lot of like ton of options.
Yeah, movement.
But you can also get on your knees when you have an episiotomy, and when you have an epidural, just so you know. But so she low battery. I'll make it quick. Anyway, so so the baby was moving down, but then he'd come back, and he'd move down a little bit and come back, which is really, really common.
That's how it goes.
But the doctor said that he wasn't moving down as much as he would like the baby to be moving down. And at this point, he would give her an episiotomy, but because she didn't want an episiotomy, he will give her a few more minutes to try and get the baby out. So it was kind of amazing because I saw just like her eye, like she was like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to get this baby out now. And so she, I think within 3 pushes, got that baby out, and it was amazing. And everybody like love, everything was fantastic. And then the doctor was looking to make sure what had happened with her body, if she needed any repair work. He was like, well, you tore, and like it didn't help, kind of thing.
Right.
Like it kind of like was his mannerism there. And right at that moment, the new on-call doctor came in and was like, hey, thanks so much. I appreciate you taking over this birth. Like, I'm here now. Thanks so much. You can go. And so he leaves. The new doctor comes in, sits down, and he's looking, and he's like looking things. He's like, wow, this looks really good. You only have like a couple tears right in here. I think we'll just need a few stitches and you'll be good. And she was like, you could see on her, like, she was, oh yeah, she was so excited. So it was amazing, to say the least. But like, I mean, she did have some repair work, and it was fine. But
which 90% of us do.
But it was a lot less than what would have happened. So sometimes you just need to be your own advocate. Decide for yourself what it is that's the most important to you. And
there are emergency situations where you've got to get that baby out. And the thing is doctors are really, really good. I mean, the words they use are, it's not as much as I would like. It's, we have to do this right now. You know, like they're pretty
sometimes
good at that.
When it is.
But advocate for yourself. That's our big thing, is trust your instincts, trust yourself. And when you make a decision about how you want your birth to go, it can usually happen the way you want it to go. It really, I mean, we always know that things come up, and there's situations that we are not in control of, but
you can also have a choice in it.
Yes, there's always a choice, and there's always ask lots of questions and make sure that it truly is an emergency situation. Like in that case, it probably took her a half hour longer than it would have without the episiotomy.
It was just time to get the baby out. It was just like,
it was just time.
It was excess time.
And which, I mean, that, and not to say that the care provider should or shouldn't have cared. It's just they get used to their routine, and it just took a little longer than their routine is. And not to say what's wrong or right, but we just love that she stuck to her guns and she knew what she wanted, and that was her thing, and it turned out perfectly for her.
Yeah, it was really good.
So
okay, so if you guys have any questions on any of these, we will we'll save this video. You can watch it for the next 24 hours, and hopefully we'll put it on like IGTV or something like that, or recap it or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it is too long. Maybe we'll just recap it in the stories and put it in the highlights.
Yes.
Thanks for being here.
We
sure love you. We know that it's a Friday night, and we're glad you're here.
We're just glad. Okay, anyway, you're awesome.
Love you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
Yes.
Bye. See ya.